something's got to change with the incentives behind tech adoption with law firms and the pricing pressures that they're getting from their clients, in particular in the enterprise space. Law firms may be using AI and not even know it because AI is just getting baked into everything. But the law firms that are consciously aware that they've decided to adopt AI are different from those law firms who are consciously trying to avoid using AI. And I think the biggest blocker for these law firms is the business model of law. Even just this morning on the date of recording, I was seeing on LinkedIn how more people are posting on how something's got to change with the incentives behind tech adoption with law firms and the pricing pressures that they're getting from their clients, in particular in the enterprise space. And so really it comes down to when AI saves you time and lets you have higher value work product, billing by the hour that's going to mean less revenue for the law firms. And so by having a business model shift, we're going to see increased tech adoption, or by seeing clients demand increased AI and tech adoption. It would be start using that AI or any AI in your personal life, not doing the substantive legal work, to get a sense and a feel for how these tools actually work. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about how AI actually works. And when you start to use it outside of your professional space, you'll have a better sense of how to utilize these tools in the professional space. Now, in particular, if you're willing or able to adopt an alternative fee structure from the billable hour, well, that's going to be the easiest one tip I could give to those law firms that are at least receptive to that advice. Whatever type of law that you do, in whether you're in private practice or government, in-house, nonprofit work, lawyers are reading, reviewing, analyzing just volumes and volumes of legal documents filled with legal jargon. Well, because of the way that these AI tools work, they're based on large language models. So really, they're the power tools for language-based professions like law. And what they're helping us do is they're helping us parse through in a semantic way all of these legal documents. So in a way that I think we'll start to see even more adoption once lawyers realize the power of this, but lawyers are used to keyword searching for legal research or within vast document data sets. But what these large language model-based AI tools are able to do really well is to do semantic search, so search for the meaning. So things that might have gotten missed in a keyword search that a lawyer just simply doesn't have the time for, the client's not willing to pay to read every single word in these thousands or really sometimes millions of document data sets. And the way that e-discovery tools used to work, now we're able to find a lot more that doesn't get missed in a lot faster time. So summarization, analysis. Now, we're not going to rely exclusively on what the AI gives us. The lawyers who know how to best leverage these tools and the way that these tools are designed is it lets us verify right next to the analysis the actual sources that it's drawing from. And this is where we're seeing more and more adoption with AI tools, because lawyers don't necessarily enjoy sitting there and reading through a bunch of legal documents. They want to do that higher level work, that strategic work. And more than anything else at a high level, that's what these AI tools are helping law firms with. So there is a mindset shift that is necessary, and that is when you're no longer billing by the hour, less time equals more money and increased profit margins for the law firm. And for the client, even if they end up paying the same or similar amount as they would have on the billable hour, they're getting work product faster. And just getting work product faster is valuable. And so once you have that mindset shift on the law firm side and on the client side, then you could really start to see what these tools can do. There are some software solutions or some consultants out there that help law firms price their services using value-based pricing on what's the actual value of what a fixed fee or subscription price should be. But even if you don't hire those consultants or use those particular software tools, whatever your favorite AI tool of choice is, for me, I prefer using Perplexity Pro for reasons that are too long to answer right now. But you go into whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and you tell it all of the things that you are able to provide to your client for legal services and legal adjacent services, and vibe with it and have a conversation with it and figure out using them, using these AI tools, well, what are some ways that I could value-based price this or use subscriptions or fixed fees? And while you shouldn't just use what the AI and you figure out together, that's a really good starting point to then maybe go to these consultants or these other software tools that are purpose-built and be further along. It's something that law firms are going to need to do that they maybe haven't done before. And that is they have to ask their client. They have to have a transparent conversation with their client and ask them, what is this worth to you? Right? And maybe you've had budgeting conversations before with your client, but this is not the type of conversation that's like, hey, what is your budget for legal spend for the year? Although that is a really good conversation to also have. This is hey, if we were to be able to deliver these legal projects to you in a certain time frame, like a shorter time frame versus a longer time frame, what's the price differential of what you would be willing to pay if we were able to get it to you with faster turnaround with equal or greater quality? Whether that's litigation and ending litigation sooner rather than later, although sometimes firms prefer litigation, that going longer, that is the strategy. But having those transparent conversations is really, really important. And if you're unsure, you can start with although I don't recommend you do this more than once. Historically, this task has taken us 10 hours. We bill $500 an hour. So that's $5,000 for the value of this task. And then what you're able to figure out is, okay, if the client's been willing to pay for that in the past, well, how could we still deliver that same quality of service but faster? And then when it takes fewer than 10 hours, if the client's still willing to pay $5,000, then the time value of money starts to not make sense anymore because that's what the client is willing to pay, and you know that based on historical data. Agentic AI or AI agents is really going to shine when it comes to administrative tasks. Even something as simple as just having to put things in a calendar, which a solo practice attorney like myself is doing if I'm not using AI agents. An admin person or a staff person could also be doing things like that. And when you're docketing a lot of cases for litigation, or you've got a ton of deadlines in your contracts that you want to make sure don't get missed, whether you're using some sort of contract management system or whatever law practice management platform you're using, getting these things scheduled and on the calendar, they might have some baked-in tools, but even just an agentic AI browser like Comet browser for Perplexity is what I have personal experience with, although ChatGPT Atlas is another one. You can give it all the dates and instruct it to enter things in your calendar for you, and it's going to do that at scale without a human having to intervene. Now, the way that these agents work is it still might take the same amount of time that a really skilled human would take to do these types of tasks. But when these agents are working in your browser and they could do anything that a human could do in a browser, they're going to be able to take away a ton of administrative tasks. That's really cutting edge right now. And there's really only those 2 agentic browsers that are going to help you do this. But even with recent tools like Claude's Cowork, you might be able to come up with creating some agents that are able to do other things on your desktop that the agentic browsers are not able to actually do on your desktop. So we're still very early in the AI agent days, but I really think these tools are going to take over a ton, if not all, of the administrative tasks for law firms and other businesses.